Welcome to the English podcast of the Foreign Language Teaching and Resource Center at National Taiwan University. In this series, we bridge geographical boundaries to explore diverse perspectives from around the world. I'm your host, Aaron, and today we have a very special guest joining us all the way from Tunisia. Please say hi to our listeners.
Hi, good morning to everyone. Thank you for accepting me and thank you for inviting me here.
To kick things off, could you please introduce yourself to our listeners and tell us a bit about where you are from?
Yes, sure. My name is Jamila Rahmeni. I am from Tunisia. Tunisia is a country in the north of Africa. It lies between Algeria and Libya. Most of the inhabitants of Tunisia are Muslim, and I am teaching English as a second language in a public school. I have been teaching English for about 23 years now.
Thank you very much for coming. There's one thing I would like to point out because I think most of our listeners are not familiar with neither Africa nor Tunisia. But actually, I haven't heard of one thing about Tunisia. Because in Taiwan, we have a lot of coal-fired power plants. And we have one that's the biggest. It's called the Taichung Power Plant. And according to some statistics, the power plant in Taichung produced 32 million tons of CO2, carbon dioxide, which is 65% of the carbon emission of Tunisia as a country. So, Taiwan is producing a lot of carbon dioxide then. Tunisia. So I was wondering, because a lot of educators are focusing on sustainable development goals, they want to incorporate sustainable development goals into their lessons. How do you feel about the climate or the environment in your country? What are your observations? Or as an educator, what do you think we can do?
Actually, Tunisia is not an exception for the climate change that is happening now around the world. Tunisia too is suffering from climate change and is having some problems at the level of water scarcity. We are suffering from this problem for about 4 years now. We have a lot of long period of drought, no rain. So if there is no rain, we are facing maybe famine. In the few coming years, we are exporting a lot of basic amenities from different countries. And so really we are facing a grave problem and Tunisian people are aware of the climate change that are happening around us. As an educator, I'm trying to make my pupils aware of the SDGs and the necessity to realize them or to achieve them. I'm trying to have some lessons that are encouraging my pupils to be, let's say, problems solvers or suggestors of ideas to help limit climate change and its impact on our planet.
That's great. Yes, that's very good. Because I think students are really important. They are the future of our earth, right?
Yes, that's it, Jim.
Yeah, so I think that's a very big issue for both of us, Taiwan or Tunisia. But let's come back to the topic of Tunisia because I'm sure our listeners are eager to learn more about Tunisia. So could you describe some unique aspects of your culture that you're proud of, you are very... you think that would be very interesting for our listeners to know about?
Yeah, sure. As Tunisian, we have many things that make us proud of being Tunisian. First of all, we have a very rich culture. We have a very rich traditions. And what is good is that we are still trying to protect our culture with everything that is coming new from the outside countries. With the new technology, but despite that, people in Tunisia are trying to preserve our cultural heritage. We still wear our traditional clothes, even though they are not very dynamic. They are not very, let's say, they are not very easy to go to work with, but we still try to keep them. We have many international and national days to celebrate our customs, like our traditional food, our tradition of clothes. So people in Tunisia are proud of being stick to their historical traditions. And what is more is that the language. We are speaking Arabic, and we have a lot of and Arabic. Maybe it's a mixture of many languages, of Amazigh, of Berber, etc. And many cities in Tunisia still speak different language, but it's still Arabic. I mean, the Arabic is divided into many sub languages that are derived from the historical background of each city in Tunisia. Apart from that, we are very proud of our food because it's unique in the world. Most of the tourists who come to Tunisia, they adore our food because it's spicy. And we still keep our tradition in preparing our food. And we have many traditional foods that last for many years and they go back to many years too.
That sounds very interesting because you also mentioned one thing that I have something in common. You talk about you speak most people in Tunisia speak Arabic, right? But you have your own version of Arabic. So you can definitely tell who is from Tunisia, who is from the Middle East, right?
Yeah, that's it, correct.
Yeah. And I don't know if you know, because Taiwan, we speak Chinese, but China, they also speak Chinese, but their Chinese is a little bit different from ours. Yeah. So that's very interesting because a language can have different kinds of variations that can tell people apart. But then you also mentioned that you have a lot of like celebrations, festivals, or national days. Do you have anyone that you can share with us, like one very special one, very interesting one?
We have a very interesting festival which is about the traditional clothes. This happened on March the 16th each year. And in all Tunisia, from north to south, the traditional clothes are worn by people, pupils, administrators. So wherever you go, you can find or you can see people who are wearing traditional clothes. We have some celebrate, let's say, some parties in schools, parties in primary schools, just to show the new generation our new traditions or our tradition to the new generation. There are some other people who made some modification and some new, let's say, styles to the old tradition. But it's still preserving our history, it's still preserving our culture. Again, in this traditional clothes, each city in Tunisia has got its proper own traditional clothes. I mean, you cannot see the same traditional clothes in all Tunisia. In the north, for example, they have got their proper traditional clothes, which is totally different from those who are living in the center, totally different from those who are living in the south, which makes a very beautiful collection. But all of them, they share the same aspect, which is Tunisian. All this is Tunisian, and it goes back to the Tunisian history. And one main objective is to preserve our history, preserve our culture, and introduce our culture to the people who are not Tunisian.
Oh, so that's like a festival of traditional clothing, right?
Yeah, they are making some innovation on the traditional clothes but still it has got the Tunisian aspect.
Yeah, that's very good. So now I'm wondering that, is there any misconceptions?
Actually, yes, because whenever you go outside, if you want to ask people about Tunisian, how do you feel about Tunisian people? They say that they are not friendly, especially with strangers, especially with visitors, with tourists. This is something that is not correct. I may say that it may happen once as an experience for one person, but it's not the majority. The vast majority of the Tunisian people are friendly, warm-hearted, are generous, and they are always cheerful. So this is what I want to say to people who think that Tunisians are not friendly. It's totally the opposite. The Tunisian people are very friendly, are energetic, and are generous, and they are loving, caring. So what you have to do is that just come to Tunisia and have your own experience with the real Tunisian people. Maybe some people have bad experience because of some circumstances, but most of the people who come to Tunisia go back to Tunisia for many times, again and again, simply because they find the peace, they find generosity, they find good services. People who think that Tunisian people are not friendly, I just want to advise them to come and go through the experience by yourself. Then you can judge the Tunisian people.
Yeah, I think that's very true. Sometimes you have to go there to explore the country, explore culture, or experience the feeling, maybe the people or everything in that country, right? And I can tell that Tunisians are definitely very friendly. That's why you're here. Shifting
Mhm.
gears a bit, what are some current issues or trends happening in Tunisia that you think our listeners should know about?
Actually, I want to talk about a phenomenon that is new in Tunisia, and it breaks our heart. It breaks the heart of families because it is the illegal immigration or the brain drain. Because of the lack of job opportunities in Tunisia, because of the bad economic growth or the slow economic growth in Tunisia. As you know, Tunisia is facing some economic problems, so we don't have enough jobs for all the people. And the new generations, they got their diploma, but they do not have a chance to get a job. So what they think is to leave the country, either legally or illegally. But in both cases, we are losing our capital. So we are losing our human capital for the benefit of the other countries. They are immigrating and leaving our country. We need our people to stay here to help the country to recover. But what is happening is that the lure of the outside countries, the lure of job opportunities outside, the lure of these, let's say, pull factor and push factor help them to go out and leave our country. And this is a very important topic that we are suffering really from. Most of the people leave. Good people leave, highly skilled people leave. So Tunisia now is lacking its skills. So we have a lot of shortage of skills, and most of the people go outside the country. And this really breaks our heart. I mean, this is really a very grave problem that I don't think we can recover from easily unless our Tunisian people, our highly skilled people, and our Tunisian who are outside go back and they just think about our country because it badly needs their effort.
Yeah, I can tell that a lot of places are experiencing brain drain. People
Yeah.
are scared because they want to look for something better, a better job. I think that's true, also true in Taiwan. But do you think, is there anything that we can do? Because I know that Taiwanese government is trying to increase the wages every year, but maybe it's not enough for our people to feel satisfied.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same here too. The housing prices are very expensive, and not all the people of Tunisia own houses. Most of the people rented houses, live in rented houses, and they may die in rented houses because the expenses of life are too much, and the salaries of the Tunisian peoples cannot be compared with those in Taiwan because of the economic growth in Tunisia. Maybe I see that Taiwan can help us in one way, which is investment. If Taiwan think of investing in Tunisia, that would help us by creating jobs for the Tunisian people here, and they would think to stay in their country and work here. Maybe some factories, maybe some organization, maybe online working. I don't know. Maybe in this way we can have partnership together to help our new generations, our skilled people to stay in Tunisia and they do not have to go outside and leave their homeland.
It's very true. I hope that one day we can have some kind of like bilateral cooperation with Tunisia. As we wrap up our conversation, is there anything else you would like to share with our listeners about Tunisia or your personal experiences?
One more thing I want to draw your attention to is that I have been working in a platform, an online platform called Class to Class organization. This platform is free for all the teachers, and it gives us the opportunity to collaborate freely. What you have to do is just to register. Then you can meet with many teachers around the world. You can arrange meeting with the teachers, then arrange meeting with their pupils, talk about a topic. Then you can work towards the SDG. And this is what is important in this platform. The main objective of this platform is to help teachers to have a project and to encourage pupils to use the design thinking strategy to encourage them to become leaders, to encourage them to become solution providers. This is very good because everything is free. You can have resources that are free. The platform that is available to help all the teachers around the world. We have from many countries, not only Tunisia. I am very happy to join this platform, and I want to invite all the people to just click on www.class2class.organization and you can register. You have a lot of free resources that help you, lesson plans, videos, etc. about the SDGs. And this is very good because it helps the pupils and the teachers as well. So I'm very happy to talk about this. And I am working too on the e-twinning projects with the Erasmus. And in these projects too, we are working towards the SDGs. And the e-twinning too is free. So all what you have to do is to register. And you can have also many projects there that can help you. You can choose the project according to the age of your pupils. You can choose according to the topic that you want to work on. In both the platforms, there are certificates, there are, let's say, resources, there are people that help you. And this what is good, the collaboration between teachers around the world to achieve one object, which is to work on the SDGs. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So there are two things, right?
Yeah. The e-twinning, you can just click on ESEP, capital letters. Then you can register and you can be a part of the e-twinning group. For class to class, you can click on class2class.organization and you can register and you become a member of class to class too.
Thank you for sharing. I actually don't know about e-twinning, and I have heard of class to class, but I have never tried it. I will check it out right after our podcast. So I think that's very true because collaboration in education can really change a lot of things. Thank you very much, Jamila, for joining us today and sharing your insight. It's been a pleasure having you on the show. And to all our listeners, thank you for tuning in the English podcast of the Foreign Language Teaching and Resource Center. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the world around you.
Thank you very much. Goodbye. See you again. Bye-bye.